Good morning, everyone from Mumbai, and good day to you wherever you are in the world. This is Elsa Marie De Silva, and today is Easter Sunday. So, wish you all a very happy Easter. And thank you for coming every day to my show, Daily Reflections during COVID-19. Today, I don't have a guest. Today, I am going to do a series of reflections from my own personal life, as well as, building on themes from what my other guests have said in the last 2 weeks. I can't believe it's been 2 weeks. So, thank you very much. Today's Easter, and Easter is a new beginning. It's the most important feast. It's the most important day in the Christian calendar. It's actually more important than Christmas. So for us, it is a day of new beginnings, a day of joy, a day of hope. And I would like to extend these thoughts to us during this difficult period of COVID-19. At this point, many of us have been in a lockdown mode or social distancing mode for more than a month. In India, we are thinking of extending the 3 week lockdown further. Today, the Prime Minister is going to make an announcement after consulting his advisors, and most likely it's going to be extended, and it is a good decision to extend it, but it's not going to be easy. It's really difficult, and we have to do what we have to do because we are called upon to be much bigger than ourselves. The reason why we are asked to stay at home is to stay safe so that we don't contract the virus and we don't pass on the virus. Also, we want to reduce the burden on the healthcare system, which won't be able to take on the load if all of us fell sick at the same time. And of course, we are asked to distance ourselves, but that's physical distancing. We don't have to socially distance ourselves. We can still stay engaged in many ways. And that's one of the reasons why I started these daily reflections, so that I could connect with you. And it was for me as well as for others. And I have to tell you that every single day, getting up, getting dressed, and being on this show has meant a lot to me. It has helped me with my routine throughout the day. It has helped me set a positive tone for myself for the whole day. So thank you once again for being with me on this journey. I'd like to read out a verse. So this is, what it's an Easter verse. So it reminds us of our our position in society, but also our role in the world. So we are all women, men, and children, gifted for ministry, created for good works, and blessed to be a blessing. We won't always serve from the front, but we need diverse voices there too. The harvest is plentiful and the workers are few. Jesus called us to pray for more laborers in his field, not to bind and gag those with the will to be sent. Permission to serve in the kingdom is none but the king's to grant, and in him alone are we able and equipped. So I'd like you to reflect on the first bit. You don't have to be Christian to believe in it, that all of us have a role to play. All of us have the ability to be kind and the ability to make a difference. And that's what's most important. It doesn't matter your age, your class, your caste, your religion, or where you are from. And COVID-19 is really teaching us that, today, this virus does not discriminate. We know of royalty, politicians, corporate leaders, and so many others who have contracted the virus. I just got news that one of my former colleagues passed away. So that's really sad, because now you know somebody who has been affected directly. Yes, all of us staying at home is also being in a way being impacted by this virus. But I do believe it's a time to pause, to reflect, and to rejuvenate. And if you're watching this, probably you are privileged. So let us also take a moment in time to acquaint ourselves with what are the privileges we have. We have access to the internet. We have the protection of our home and our family. Many others don't have that. You can see images from around the world, especially in my country, India, where lots of migrants and laborers and daily wage earners and homeless people don't have those access to resources. And they have a much harder life than we do. So when you're pausing and reflecting and rejuvenating, take a moment to think of all the others. Maybe somebody is stuck at home. Maybe they have a disability, or they are old and they are a senior citizen and they are not advised to go out. So how can we be called to be more than ourselves and help those people? And therefore, whilst you're reconnecting, not only with your body, but your mind and your soul, also reconnect with other people around you. Find out what they need. Some of them, they may just want somebody to talk to or listen to. So give them a call. You could do groceries for your, elderly neighbors or those who cannot step out. So make a community, basket in a way. You can also volunteer with organizations. Not all of us can be on the front lines. So, for example, there are many organizations, and I've spoken about Project Mumbai in particular because that's one that I am volunteering with. But you can volunteer with your church, you can volunteer with any other community that you're part of, where you can reach out, and you can do things like simple coordination amongst volunteers, or you can coordinate with vendors if they are supplying food. For example, what I do is I coordinate one particular food distribution route. I make sure that there are volunteers every day who will pick up the food, who will go to different points along the Eastern Express Highway in Mumbai and drop off in total about 700 meals. And then I compile a project report and I submit. But I'm one of several volunteers who do that. You could also fundraise. So every single thing matters and it counts. And you then become part of a bigger picture. You can also use this time to do nothing. We've spoken about that over the last 2 weeks, the value of doing nothing. This is a time to pause. So maybe it is your body and your mind and your soul that says, I don't want to do anything. And be forgiving and kind and say that's okay. And you can do it. And you should do it. Because once this is over, and it will be over, you'll go back to your busy routine and you won't have time to think and reflect and pause. So do whatever makes you feel happy. If it is doing nothing, I call it vegetating. And if that is what makes you happy, do that. When I used to work in corporate, I used to vegetate at least one weekend every 2 weeks because it was so exhausting and hectic. But now I just take pauses during the day. So whenever I feel that I need a break, I just put everything aside and I just shut down. But you could, reconnect with your creative side. This is one way that I'm trying to be creative by, having this show. But you could write, for example, a lot of people are journaling. You could use Medium. Medium is a free blogging site. You could put your thoughts out there. You could also test out whether people are interested in what you have to say and monetize it. But if you don't want to do that, you can just write in a journal. Or you could listen to music, reconnect with a musical instrument that you may have played when you were younger. A lot of people are doing that. I know Ligio Chaku, who was on our show a few days back, he started skating again. So there are lots of things that you can do. You can test out. This is a time to test. Do it once, don't like it, you don't have to do it again. But if you like it, you can build on it. Hold space for each other. Rukmani Iyer spoke about holding space, and I thought that was really beautiful. And what does holding space mean? It means giving time to somebody, being non-judgmental, listening, just being there for them. And sometimes it's about being silent. And that is really critical. If you notice, most of our cities have gone silent. I mean, I live in Mumbai, which is one of the most crowded cities in the world. The noise is overwhelming, the sounds, the smell, the color, all of it can be very overwhelming on all your senses. And during this time, what we are noticing is that everybody is indoors and there's a quietness around which at any other point would have been very eerie. But it's now that we are getting used to it, it's becoming beautiful. And we can hear the other sounds, the sounds of the birds and the other creatures that take a back seat when we are in the forefront. And many of our guests have spoken about animal rights, about the environment rejuvenating itself. We had Sutapa Sanyal talk about maybe instead of Sunday to have an Earth Day when we go back to our normal routines, work for 5 days, do our chores on a Saturday, and on Sunday, which is the day of rest, to really give the earth the time to breathe and come back to life, and give ourselves also that time. Maybe it's, we should force ourselves to change the way we live. I've had a great few weeks. We started off with Prathama, who really spoke about social inequality and injustice and the role cities play in being inclusive. What role that does design play in when we plan our cities, the cities for everyone, for example. We are cooped up at home, and our apartments in Mumbai, as with many big cities, is very cramped up, small, not enough of open space. So when you are confined, and as I think Vishaka said it, work from home may have been a choice, but when it's kind of forced on you, you look at it differently. And during this time, when you're forced to stay at home, even if you would have liked to have stayed at home earlier, it's kind of, negative and overwhelming in a way, but also the ability to absorb that sunlight, which is so important for our bodies, for our well-being, for our positivity, is difficult. We had Supreet, who spoke about, reinventing yourself over and over again and being kind. And then Napinai, she is an amazing lawyer. She speaks on, digital. She's a cyber security expert and a digital rights expert. And then Manira Alba talking about why women's voices and the political leadership of women is so important. And we are seeing that many countries that are doing extremely well, or cities that are doing extremely well, many of them have something in common, and that is, a woman at the top. Because women's style of leadership can be very different from a man's style. And that's why you need diversity. You need both sides to think from different perspectives and bring that together to form a holistic solution. In the time of crisis like this, you need a lot of empathy. And we had Satya speak about his work with farmers. Today, when we are confined at home, we take for granted a lot of the things that come to us very easily. And we don't realize the effort that goes into, making sure that we have food on our tables. And those farmers in many parts of the country and the world are really struggling. And it's heartbreaking to see those videos where the crop, this year we had a bumper crop, is just being wasted because we are not willing to pay the right price for it. So let's go beyond ourselves and think about somebody else for a change. Think about how can we make their lives better, and how can we support them, because this is not the moment to think selfishly. At this point, we have to get through this together. We are in it together, so we have to get through this period. We have Shishir Joshi, who's so inspirational. He's the founder of Project Mumbai. He created a collaborative platform for people and organizations to come together and do this massive Khana Chahiye project, which is now reaching 50,000 cooked meals a day. They've added bananas, and soon it's going to be dry rations, not just for laborers, the homeless people, but they've also tied up with the BMC to service the relief camps as well as senior citizens. Shaili Chopra spoke about women and women's voices, amplifying it. And we had Kiran Manral, who spoke about taking a pause, just, taking a pause to redefine what your legacy is. We also had Harish Iyer, who joined us. He spoke about, the vulnerability of different communities, and that did come up even in Vishaka's when we're talking about persons with disability. Harish spoke from an LGBTQ perspective, and Eliani spoke from a survivor's perspective of child sex abuse. Violence is increasing at the moment and within confined spaces. So we can be better bystanders. We can make ourselves aware of all these issues, educate ourselves on what constitutes different kinds of sexual violence. How can we be better bystanders and intervene? We can distract. Like, Breakthrough has a simple campaign: ring the bell, bell bajao, make a phone call, find somebody the help they need. There are many counseling services. You can reach out to them. There are many NGOs. Shortly, Red Dot Foundation is starting a sharing circle called Safe Circle. And we can also be kind to each other. Don't be judgmental. If somebody reaches out, listen to them. Don't jump in with your solutions. So I would recommend, take a moment to go through each of these daily reflections. I've learned a lot from them. And I hope you would too. I've received a lot of wonderful feedback from people all over the world thanking me for it. But really, it's thanks to you that I have also benefited from bringing each of these wonderful guests on my show to talk about it. I do hope you will stay home, continue to stay home, stay safe, stay engaged, and stay positive. It's hard being positive, but we are privileged. You and I, if we have this ability to communicate over the internet, I would say we are definitely privileged. So what works for me is if I make two columns, the things that I'm upset about and the things that I'm grateful for. And the ones that I'm grateful for always, the list is longer than the ones that I'm complaining about. So take a moment to make that list for yourself if that works for you. Be grateful, stay positive, stay energized, exercise. I've moved to Zoom exercise and Zoom yoga, and there are a ton of videos out there that are useful. It really helps set the tone for the day. So thank you for watching every day. Once again, happy Easter. Stay home, stay safe, stay engaged, stay positive. You don't have to be alone. Pick up the phone and call that friend or that family member and wish them also a very happy Easter. Thank you.